Why, hello there! And welcome to article analysis number 23. I figured today we'd do a little bit of a Halloween special. After all, it is Halloween. And so today we're going to be talking about witches. Yeah. Now I kind of gravitated towards this because, well, one, it's Halloween, and two, recently a bunch of self-proclaimed witches put a spell on Kavanaugh and Trump. So I figured, yeah, let's talk about witches, why not? They're kind of somewhat relevant. So, you know, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity, man. I'm not gonna miss an excuse to talk about witches. Cause like, when are you ever talking about witches? Never. Cause it's like, what relevancy do witches ever even have? They got zero. Nothing. So yeah, the article we are analyzing today is called Are You a Witch? Telltale Signs and Characteristics to Look For. Apparently posted on August 21st, 2018, written by Bevg, who has been practicing her personal form of witchcraft for years and years. Now when I hear witchcraft, I think like, you know, dark magic, spells, you know, cauldrons, fucking candles, man. I'm thinking of all of this crazy stuff. But apparently, some people think this isn't very crazy. They think it has power. Is this a delusion, or are they onto something? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of biased. I'm kind of leaning towards the side of them being absolutely nuts. But, you know, maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe they'll be like, yo, this stuff works. Let me show you. And hopefully they don't summon a demon on me. Hell no. Fuck that. You know, the occult is actually kind of interesting to me. Even in my childhood, I played a lot of Silent Hill. Especially Silent Hill 3, which absolutely destroyed me. That game just kind of interjected itself into my psyche. It gave me awful nightmares. I loved it though, you know. Put me through so much torment. I can't really express the feelings of distress Silent Hill 3 gave me as a child, but I still loved it. It was so weird. Such a strange relationship with that game. But Silent Hill 3 is very focused on the occult, is very inspired by the occult, and I think that's pretty interesting, but I don't think that these self-proclaimed witches exactly fit the kind of caricature I have formed in my head about the occult. I think they're a bunch of posers. But hey, I've spoken for long enough. Let's just read the damn article, man. Let's get it. If you feel a little different from other people, if you don't quite fit in, if your interests seem to veer wildly from those of people you are close to, if animals are drawn to you, if you feel at home in nature and comfortable in the dark, it's quite possible you might be a witch. Now, I fit pretty much that entire description. In fact, today, my cat just wouldn't stop bugging me. So, I don't know, that's a pretty broad description, really. That's very broad. I feel like anybody could fit this description. It's like saying, do you eat eggs and toast for breakfast? Do you sometimes have bacon on the side? Have you ever drank orange juice? Well, you might be a witch. It's like, no, I don't see the connection, man. This is some crazy shit. Now let's just get a little bit more educated on what a witch is. What is a witch? This is a difficult question because there are literally hundreds of different kinds of witches, and witchcraft traditions can vary widely from place to place and person to person. I'm getting that kind of vibe where it's like identity politics. I'm kind of getting an identity politics kind of vibe. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before, and like, oh, gender varies from person to person. I don't know. I just detect a red flag. However, the kind of witch I am talking about is pretty straightforward. A witch is a wise woman or man who uses energy to make things happen. Well, this is a very broad description because, again, quite literally, every single person on the planet fits this description. When I pick up this coffee right now that I'm holding that you can't see and putting it to my lips to drink it, that's energy, alright? I am using energy with my hand and my lips, my throat, everything to drink this coffee, and that wouldn't be possible without energy. So I guess by this description I am a witch. Who would have thought? Be aware that people are rarely born into witchcraft, despite what people claim. Witchcraft is a path you choose to follow, even if you have all the characteristics described here. That doesn't mean you have to tread that path. It's all about choice. Yeah, I don't get what those characteristics have to do with being a witch. You could have those characteristics and just be anybody. In fact, I'm almost certain everybody has those characteristics because everybody's different from one another. Unless you're an NPC. Animals are usually attracted to people, especially if they're domesticated animals. People use energy to make things happen. Some people are comfortable in the dark, others aren't, but I'm sure they can adapt to the dark. Human beings come from nature, so, you know, it would be normal to feel at home in nature. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't know what a witch is because the descriptions you've provided apply to every single human being ever. So already, you don't even have to convince me that I'm a witch. You've already said I am a witch. By that definition, I am a witch. Every single person is a witch. Everyone watching this video is a witch because everybody uses energy to make things happen. And those traits you described earlier are not uncommon traits. But I get it. People are rarely born into witchcraft. They choose that they're witches and such. I get it. It's a lifestyle, alright? It's a personal choice. In fact, the only way I think you can be born into witchcraft is if you're born into a family who belongs to the occult. And even then, I really wouldn't even call it the occult unless they really are doing some creepy shit. Because this kind of witchcraft doesn't come across in any serious way, shape, or form. Like, I can't take this seriously, especially with the descriptions and definitions you've provided. So why not just say, yo, I like witches. I think they're cool. I have an interest in the occult. I dabble in it a little bit. I call myself a witch. I have fun doing it. I enjoy myself. Why not just say that? Signs you might be a witch. You dislike crowds. The energy of all those people seems to swirl and eddy around you. You might get a headache or feel grumpy or slightly ill if you get stuck in the middle of a large crowd. This is a very broad description. This does not help at all. I dislike crowds. I'm sure many people dislike crowds. And even if you don't dislike a crowd in the moment, who's to say you won't dislike a different crowd later on? Some crowds have different attitudes than others. You don't like angry mobs. Sometimes you don't even like happy, cheerful mobs because they're too loud or something. So far, I feel like this article is targeted towards just basic people who want to feel different and who want to have their biases kind of solidified. Like, oh, I want to be a witch. My ego really wants to be different. Which, if that's the case, more power to you. I don't even care, really. Here's the next one. You have always been able to rely on your intuition. Now, before I even read this one, intuition is arguably more important than intellect because your body and a lot of your brain is doing a lot of thinking that you are not consciously aware of. I don't think this means you're a witch. I think this just means you're a normal person, which is a common theme so far in this article. Whenever you needed to make a snap judgment, your intuition has kicked in to guide you. A feature every single human being on the planet has. If you've been unsure about someone's motives, your intuition got you right out of that situation. If you've anguished over a decision and in the end decided to go with your gut, you were following your intuition, and I expect it was spot on. Okay, I don't really have any comments. I mean, this is just a basic human function. Death and what happens after we die has always fascinated you. This is another human feature. I mean, every single human being is fascinated with things because we have something called a curiosity. Just in the same way we want to explore other worlds in space, we would be interested in exploring other dimensions. Not saying they exist, I'm just saying we would be interested in that, and we have been interested in that for the entirety of recorded history, and likely longer than that. You often feel as though people who have passed haven't gone anywhere at all. Well, you're delusional if that's the case. They are just behind a thin veil and have their quirks and characters just like the living. At the same time, you know we are all part of one whole. Okay, well, even if you are aware that we are all related in a very basic and fundamental way, that doesn't make you a witch. If anything, it makes you closer to being a Hindu or a Buddhist. You are a sponge for knowledge, a consequence of having a brain, if you ask me. You love to read and discover new things constantly. Now we're circling back to that curiosity thing I mentioned. You love to be awed by the simplicity and complexities of the universe. Now, I would never try to discourage your curiosities and any sort of awe to the complexities of the universe. I would never try to discourage that. In fact, I encourage that. I don't think that makes you a witch, sorry to say. But if you do want to be a witch, and you think that these things have some sort of intimacy with that philosophy, then more power to you. I don't care. You do you. I feel like there are other philosophies out there you could subscribe to that match that description very well. You feel energy, literally. Whether it's in your hands, flowing through you, or swirling around you, you know it's a real thing. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Okay, well, this is just... I mean, if you do enough critical thinking at all, you will realize that everything is energy. And after you realize this, feeling energy will completely lose its novelty, because it's all people are feeling ever is energy. You can identify the energy of any place you visit. You can read the emotions that have been impressed on a building in the past. Sometimes you just have to leave if it becomes too overwhelming. Other times you feel you can exert a calming influence. Occasionally, it seems as though you have visited a place before, even though you are sure you haven't. Okay, so what you've just described a little bit in that paragraph is an ego trip. I mean, you can appreciate art in the exact same way that you've described here, and in fact, it's the feelings and emotions that art portrays that is so effective because you could pick up on these patterns. But whenever you say that you feel you can exert a calming influence, to me that just comes across as absolute nutjob behavior unless you're physically altering what you're looking at, or you're trying to influence people's opinions about it, which is another physical alteration. I don't know, I just have I have absolutely no idea what you mean whenever you say you can exert a calming influence. Like what do you just, like you tune your mind into a calming nature, and then you calm yourself, and somehow that calms the... What? That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. You've always been attracted to the dark arts. Perhaps tarot, astrology, spellwork, or healing. You believe there is so much about us and the world that we don't understand. But the more you learn about witchcraft, the more you want to learn. Okay? I mean, I have an interest in the occult because I like Silent Hill. I like spooky stuff. Does that mean I'm attracted to the dark arts? Maybe, I don't know, fuck it. Sure. I mean, I have an interest in it just as I have an interest in all fucking religions and shit. Yeah, whatever, let's move on to the next one. Nature feels natural to you. When you are in nature, walking in a garden, the woods, on the heath, or in a park, you feel like that's where you belong. Nature restores your very being through connection with the grass, trees, ocean, and rocks. I would hope so, considering that you're a human being that came from nature. God, this is absolutely frustrating, actually. More frustrating than I thought it would be. I need to stop taking this so seriously, because obviously, the writer does not take this seriously. Physical signs or characteristics of a witch. There is no way to simply look at a person to determine whether or not they are a witch. However, some of a witch's inner characteristics might cause visual clues. You like to wear black. Okay, I'm not even going to elaborate. I'm not even going to bother to read the rest of that. You prefer silver to gold. Wow. You're always collecting things. You're drawn to animals and they are drawn to you. You accumulate objects that reveal your witchiness. This is the silliest stuff I've ever read. You know, it's kind of a shame, because I wish there was a genuine article about witchery and such that would give more insight into this lifestyle, but this just isn't doing it justice. And that may be because there's nothing to it. It's just so shallow. Here's some more clues that you could be a witch. You are observant, you respect boundaries, you are attracted to quirky, interesting, unusual people, you can keep a secret, storms and a lashing rain excite you, the moon seems to be important in a spiritual way, but you're not quite sure why. It's because it affects the cycles of the earth. You feel connected to the elements, you're reading this, and you've made a connection. To me, this article comes across as conducive to insanity. You're reading this and you made a connection. Forgive me if that comes across as delusional. Like, oh, I really feel this way, it must be true. In fact, it even says, you know that this is you. Even if all these things don't apply, you just feel it. You are a witch. You know, this is the most controversial thing she's said, and it's also the most true thing, really. I mean, if you go and call yourself a witch, and you do all these witchy things, such as, partake in the occult, you do rituals and shit, like the ones they did on Kavanaugh and Trump, sure, I'll call you a witch, whatever. I think you're a delusional nut job, but you do you. I mean, if you were actually a legit witch, and this wasn't some sort of ego trip, like all these things lead me to believe this is, then I might have a bit more respect, because I, for one, am genuinely interested in the occult from an outside-in perspective. And this article just doesn't scratch that itch for me. Like, I've learned nothing about witchcraft, I've learned nothing about witches, or anything. So far, pretty much all I've really been told is being a witch is an identity choice. In fact, it's such a broad identity choice that even I could fit into it. Literally any human being could fit these descriptions. These are not clues that may lead you to believe anything. These are false flags. And it's using the same technique that made astrology so ridiculous. It's taking advantage of people's egos and fueling an ego trip. Oh wait, hold up, there's a quiz. This just got a whole lot more exciting. One sec. Which quiz? Find out if you could be a witch. Hell yeah. There's a storm coming. What do you think? Yay, I can't wait to feel the rain. Oh no, rain is so depressing. Neither of these, actually, for me. I mean, I don't want to go outside in the rain. What the hell? I mean, sometimes I might want to. I mean, sometimes it can be pleasant, but I mean, if I'm usually just inside hanging out. I like just the atmosphere the rain presents. It's very cozy whenever it's outside your window. You can hear the pitter-pattering on your window. So, yeah, I mean, I like the rain. I don't want to be out in the rain. I don't want to get wet. I don't want to feel the rain. But I get, damn it. I mean, I don't think rain is depressing. I don't want to feel the rain. Here, I'll just click yay. Yeah, I'll just click yay. I can't wait for the rain. What is your opinion about astrology? I think it's a fascinating way to gain insight. I think it's a load of bull. I mean, maybe there's something to it. I don't know. If there's anything to astrology as a set of ideas and philosophies, which, in my opinion, are incredibly egocentric. So if there's anything to astrology, it's just absolutely nothing like how you probably think it is. So I think it's a load of bull. You're wrong? What? What does that mean? This is an opinion. You're alone in a forest in the middle of the night. What do? I die of terror. Bad things might be out there. I might explore a little. I hope there's a moon. I would hope there's a moon too. What? I mean, yeah, I might explore a little bit. If I'm alone in a forest, why else would I be out there? I guess I'll do what I went there to do and explore. Right. Okay, so they're considering my opinions right and wrong. Okay. So, are they trying to say my goal is to be a witch? Is that what they're insinuating here? Do you ever get hunches? Yes, and they often turn out to be true. Not that I've noticed. Well, no matter who the fuck you are, you're gonna get hunches. I mean, everybody has an intuition, unless they've, gone to college for so long that their intellect just outweighs their intuition so much to where they just don't have one, which I don't even think that's possible. But yes, because I am a human being, I'm gonna say yes, and they often turn out to be true. Right. How do you feel about animals? What the hell kind of question is that? Some are nice, but I'm not particularly crazy about them. I love them, sometimes more than humans. I wish there were more answers to this question, because I don't want to pick either of these. Both of these answers are incredibly dull and stupid. Like, I am not ecstatic about animals. I am an animal, dude. What the hell? We come from the same earth. I just have a brain and the ability to alter my environment. So I guess I'll say some are nice, but I'm not particularly crazy about them, because I don't like everybody. I don't like a lot of people. What the hell? And polar bears, I wouldn't care if they would extinct. They eat people. They actively go out to eat people. Polar bears, what the hell? I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to kill polar bears, but they're gonna go out of their way to kill me. So I don't know. Animals aren't always that great, Plus my cat is freaking annoying. It's always meowing and stuff and bugging me and waking me up. And then when I try to give it something, it's like, hey, I don't want that. What the fuck? I'm like, wait, whoa, you walked me here. Cat's just like, fuck you, go back to bed. It's okay. So yeah, some are nice, but I'm not particularly crazy about them. Have you ever had a dream that came true? Yes, and this happened several times. No, and if I did, I'd call it a coincidence. A dream that came true. That's a complicated, thought, actually. Because I've had, sleep paralysis that ended up being a reflection of something that was happening in reality, so it was a dream grounded in truth, those hallucinations. But that was happening in real time. But that would be a yes. And I don't think that's the answer she's looking for. This is a complex question. There's no answer for this. I would have to do a lot more thinking to really come to a conclusion. So I guess no, and if I did, I'd call it a coincidence, because I don't think, yes, I have, but I don't think that that's the definition of, I don't know. She doesn't have my thought process, so I'm gonna put no. Wrong. Have you ever had a dream that came out to be true? No, I didn't. Wrong. Oh, I love it. What do you think about tarot, herbalism, meditation, and other alternative thoughts? Alternative thoughts. Well, I like meditation. I don't believe in tarot cards. I think that's a load of bullshit. Herbalism is, isn't that chemistry? Herbalism? Because you're using herbs and the chemicals inside those herbs to alter your consciousness. Okay, so I'm fascinated and want to learn more. There's no evidence that these things are valuable. Well, that's just incorrect. Okay, so what I don't like about this question is they're grouping tarot cards and tarot readings with herbalism and meditation, and tarots are just absolute nonsense. Herbalism and meditation are grounded in reality. Herbalism, for one, is a study of plants and medicinal uses of them, and meditation is an observation of thoughts from an outside-in perspective. So both those things are very real and have real effects on the world, but tarot cards do not. I'm forced to say I'm fascinated and want to learn more, even though tarots are just absolute garbage. How do you feel in a large crowd? Anxious, uncomfortable, and suffocated? Fine, no problem. Depends on the crowd, really. There are some crowds I'm fine in. There's some crowds that make me feel dead inside. There are some crowds that might make me fear for my life if it's an angry mob or something. There's some crowds that I might fit into, such as say like a Pink Floyd concert crowd or something, yeah, I'd be... Well, actually no, because they've over-politicized their shit, or at least delved into the realm of divisive politics, and I don't like that in any source of media. So, you know what, I'm gonna put... I honestly don't even want to answer this question because it's a complex one, and she's oversimplifying it like she's done all the other questions. Fine, no problem, I'll put that. Wrong. Wait, I don't understand. If you're a witch and you value meditation, why would you feel that insecurity and attach it to your ego if you're all about meditation? Like, what does this writer think meditation is? It's about detaching yourself from your ego, and here you are encouraging an attachment of insecurity. Come on, man. Oh, wow. I scored a 44%. That's, like, awful. It's not even half. You may not have any natural inclination, but you could still pursue it if you really wanted to. I'll pass. Thanks, though. View quiz statistics. This quiz has been taken 0 times. Average score, 0%. Am I the only person that's ever been on this page? What? Okay then, let's go back. I'm honored. Are you a witch? After reading this article, I think I might be. Definitely not. I don't believe all this mumbo-jumbo, witches only exist in fairy tales. I've always known I'm a witch. Well, I wish this third option here, I don't believe in all this mumbo-jumbo. I wish it was just that first part. I mean, witches are clearly real. People who identify as witches I will call witches, and they have existed in the past. That's not to say I think they have any real supernatural attachment or power. In fact, I think that's all an ego trip. I'll just put definitely not. Oh, people actually partook in this one. Jeez, look at all these people who came to this article looking to fulfill their biases like I expected. Huh, okay then. 1% said definitely not. And 18,000 people have voted in this poll. Oh my god, that's a lot of delusional nutjobs. Whoa. Okay, well I think I'm done with this article. All in all, it wasn't badly written, you know. It was just, I don't agree with the mind behind it. I don't agree with the philosophies. I think she's a little misguided on her beliefs, but that's just my opinion, man. But whatever, if you want to call yourself a witch, I respect it, you do you. If you come across as an egotistical person, I won't respect you. But you know, hey, this article just comes across as, oh, I'm so spiritual. This article is the perfect example of a spiritual ego. Like, oh, look how spiritual I am this and that. Oh, my ego just loves all this stuff. I love defining myself and being different and quirky. I love the idea of having different powers than everybody else. But you know, all in all, I give this article, I give it a 6 out of 10. It's above average. I enjoyed it. It was a good read. It got me thinking. Gave me something to talk about. Wasn't poorly written. Some of the ideas she tried to convey were a bit aggravating, and the test wasn't very well thought out. But hey, you know, it exists, and it is what it is. Slightly above average. Slightly. Anyway, my name is Psychic Sploob. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Happy Halloween, and peace out.